Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So happy Friday. Today, let's talk about Bitcoin's upward movement once again and why the Bitcoin bull market is about to accelerate. Yes, that's right. We got many signals, many signs that point an all-time high is right around the corner. So let's talk about it. And let's talk about everything else that's going on in the world today. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Look at this. Bitcoin is back up above 66. We were here just a day ago. Can we break up from our current position? Okay, and many people feel like we can. And the next stop is back towards our all-time high and shattering that and possibly going up as high as 80 or 90,000 this next leg up. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so before I get to all that, what's going on today in the U.S.? Look at the U.S. market. Looks like it's kind of flat right now. Couple of big news. Number one, you can see it right here. You got world's top golfer somehow arrested for assaulting an officer while he was driving to a champion event. I don't know why that would be on CNBC. What this has to do with it's not financial news. But I guess that's a big deal. I don't follow golf. Maybe you guys find that a big deal. But this also was top news. GameStop shares fall another 20% after it decides to sell additional stock. See, this would have been a good idea like 2 days ago. This is not a good idea after it started retracing back down to its previous levels. See, AMC did this right. AMC did it the day of the pump. And they made like $200 million by doing so. Now GameStop's doing it. I don't know what's going on. It was down 20% in the aftermarket. It's still down 23% today. It's almost back to where it started before the whole rally started. So, yeah. So, there's that. Okay. But going back to Bitcoin, what's going on with Bitcoin? Well, traders are targeting 74K next week. In case you're wondering, 73K is our previous high that we touched upon maybe 2 months ago. Wasn't that long ago. But a lot of traders, a lot of analysts think that all-time high is right around the corner. We're certainly not that far off. We're at 66,000. We know Bitcoin can move very quickly. Sometimes it can move 5-10% in a single day. Just a 10% move will bring us back up to about 73,000. So it's not that far-fetched. We're not that far off. We really aren't. And why do traders and analysts think that all-time high is coming up soon? Well, you just look at the data. You look at what's been happening, especially with the ETFs. ETFs are now ramping up. Okay, yesterday we had almost 4,000 Bitcoin flow into the ETFs. The day before we had over 4,000. For the entire week so far, not counting today, just the 4 days, we had over 11,000 Bitcoin going into the ETF. That's a lot. We're talking about like $1 billion plus. You add today, we may get another 4,000. So the inflow into the ETFs are accelerating, and I've been covering about how there's 900 plus companies now that have bought and hold some Bitcoin spot ETF. That's where the money is going into. These big, giant hedge funds and public trade companies, and even like pension funds, even state pension funds are adding Bitcoin to their portfolio. This is going to cause a supply shock. It has been already. I mean, if you look at it overall since less than 3 months, 217,000, well, you can't see it because my camera, 217,000 have been taken out of supply and put into the ETFs. That is a lot. Even despite Grayscale selling 330,000 Bitcoin, even despite that, we still had a net positive 217,000. Just gone. That's less than 90 days. It seems like the ETFs have been around forever. No, only 88 days of trading. So it hasn't been anywhere close to even half a year or a year. Just imagine we get 4,000 Bitcoins every single day being taken out of circulation. It's going to add up. This is the reason why a lot of people think that Bitcoin is going to make another high and will continue during this bull market. I do too. I mean, you can't discount this. You really can't. Okay, just look at the green bars for this week. 4 consecutive green bars. Now, not as good as what we saw early on in March and May or April. No, I should say February through March. But hey, we could see those days again. I mean, look at how fast Bitcoin moved during those days. If we get more inflows, which we will, because FOMO will build, we are going to see Bitcoin skyrocket to unknown levels, unknown, astronomical, enormous, gigantic levels. Here, this also shows the volume exploding. We haven't seen this kind of ETF volume since March, our last really good ETF month. So if the volume picks up, the buying starts, it's going to be good. Something else that's good, Tether. Well, at least the minting, another 1 billion USDT was just minted. And you know what? Why do you think $1 billion of USDT was minted? It's because someone wants to buy $1 billion worth of something. Bitcoin or Solana or Avalanche or whatever. $1 billion doesn't just mint out of nowhere. And when you see this USDT series supply, you see it go up and up and up and up. Generally, you can map it out to Bitcoin's trajectory too, because they kind of align. So this is the only time right now where the supply is going up, but Bitcoin's price have not yet. Okay, that means something big is happening. And there are a lot of stables right now just sitting on the sidelines. But when the stables come back, it's going to cause enormous FOMO pump for everything. Not just Bitcoin, but everything else out there. So that's something else to pay attention to. We got enormous amount of stable coins like USDT sitting on the sidelines and being minted all the time. And people aren't minting it for no reason, for fun. No, they're getting ready to buy. That's the reason why. What else is there? Well, let's look at a couple charts. I mean, pretty obvious ones. So right now, according to Yoda, that our current trajectory, we're basically in a bullish pennant. And when we break out, next stop, according to this, is 100,000. We're going to actually surpass 100,000 and come back down, consolidate over there a little bit. And then once we go into 2025, that's when we break 150,000 and keep on going. I can't say I disagree with it. I mean, I really can't. It seems like the numbers are just too high. But if you're looking at it in perspective of our current movement so far, it certainly is possible. Again, when Bitcoin moves, it moves in ways that surprises you. You never expect Bitcoin to move according to how you see it. It never happens. It exceeds your expectation. It always does. So we have that to look forward to, of course. Here's another pattern bullish flag that Bitcoin is in and looks like it wants to surpass. So we're getting close to it. If we hit about 60, according to this, about 66, 67,000, which is where we are right now, and we break out of this, well, the next stop is in the 80s. I don't disagree. Obviously, if we hit 74 and we break through all-time high, 80s is around the corner. That should not be a surprise to anyone. Here's something else, is looking at a market cap versus realized cap. And again, this is just a good measurement of whether or not we are topping out in this cycle. And I don't think anyone thinks that we're about to top out in this cycle. And this clearly shows it. Like, basically where we are, we got 2 years, guys, 2 years of a parabolic bull run. And we're not even halfway through that year. Okay, every time we have 2 years before we top out. So that's why this notion of somehow Bitcoin is going to top out in 2024, I just don't see it. This is going to be a good year, but 2025 is going to blow people away. Okay, I mean, we have one solid year after this of parabolic growth. And that's not going to change. That is not going to change. Here's another one. Risk signal. Again, just looking at basically where we are right now, the circle point. How I look at this is you look at the previous circle points. Okay, we're a little bit ahead of the schedule, right? We know that. Because of the ETFs, Bitcoin's rise is actually faster than it should be. So you could see the previous times when there was a consolidation period, it was after, months and months and months past the halving event. This time around, it's like right at the halving event, right? So what happens after this point? Well, I think you guys could see parabolic rise, right? Again, just showing you where we are in this cycle, and it's so early. Okay, so that's what I want to say about Bitcoin. What else is going on today? You may have noticed there are some good movers. Okay, some alts are moving quite well. For example, Chainlink. Chainlink woke up finally. It's 12%, right? I covered a few things about Chainlink already. But why is Chainlink going up? Well, a couple of reasons. One, they just conducted or finished conducting a test pilot with some of the biggest banks out there to see if Chainlink and CCIP is good for tokenization of Treasury, right? So we're talking about JP Morgan and I believe Wells Fargo and one other bank. So that could be absolutely huge if all the major banks start utilizing Chainlink for tokenization of whatever yields that they want to tokenize. Okay, you have social discussions going upwards, highest since October of 2023. Not sure why, but of course social discussions does help generate FOMO. And this also happened. Okay, Chainlink and Fetch AI partner up, and we know Fetch AI is one of the biggest AI crypto plays that we have. So they're partnering up to enhance blockchain monitoring. And why this is interesting is, I mean, well, first of all, Chainlink is hooked up to like basically every single chain, every single project. But we know Fetch AI, they are going to converge to ASI, and it's just going to be a huge freaking AI company. It's going to be huge, right? I'm waiting for that to happen. But still, any kind of partnership helps, especially in this case with Chainlink. They're just getting more and more involved with everything. With absolutely everything. They are becoming such a beast, I would say, in the market. They already are, but they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. What else? Coinbase says Ether can surprise to the upside in the coming months. I mean, sure, in the coming months, Ethereum will go higher, but I don't know why they think it could surprise people. Their reasons are they don't have a lot of unlocks or miner seller pressure anymore because there are no more miners, and token unlocks are not a thing. With a lot of other chains, there are a lot of unlocks coming up, but with Ether, there's nothing, right? I mean, it could happen, and it could also happen that we get Ethereum spot ETF approved. That would be a huge deal. That would send Ethereum to the upside. But you know what? I don't know. I don't know. If Bitcoin trends up, Ethereum will too. But can it surprise people? I don't know about that. I don't think I'm going to be surprised by the upside of Ethereum. But I think I will be surprised by the upside of Solana and many others. So CoinGecko does a study and looks at real world transaction speed, how much these chains, the most popular chains, can actually handle. And no surprise whatsoever, Solana's leading the way. Okay, highest real transactions per second, Solana averaged 1,000 per day. Okay, this is I don't know how they did it, but real world testing. This is not in the lab. A lot of these chains in the lab will say, well, we get 1 million transactions per second or like 500,000 transactions per second. But real world testing shows that Solana leads the way. Then you have someone like Sui, which is not too far behind, 854. Binance Smart Chains, 378. Polygon, Ton, Tron, Near. Avalanche, they're about 200 to 100. And everyone else is down there. Ethereum is at 22.7. That's actually better than I expected. But a lot of these are just topped out. They either don't have enough transactions to fill out the chains, so that's why they're registering so low, or they are simply stuck. There's a bottleneck, and they can't get any more transactions per second in the case of Ethereum right now, right? But it's surprising to see how like all these other fancy L2s, like you look at Arbitrum and Base and Mantle and Starknet and Optimism and Blast, they're supposed to be super, super fast. But they hardly process anything because there's nothing going on in those chains, to be quite honest. Same thing with a lot of these other ones. Aptos, very hyped up, right? There's nothing going on in Aptos. That's why there's no transactions. Not that they can't scale more. It's just there's nothing going on within them. That's why I say, unfortunately, a lot of these major chains, they're worth multi-billion-dollar. They are like ghost towns. They don't have anything going on in there, right? So that's why we need more dApps. We need more solid dApps. We need more games. We need everything. We need actually real-world dApps, and we need real-world users using them besides just trading on DEXs and buying memes, right? We need more. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's do Q&A. All right. Solana is okay today. 167, trending upwards. Cardano doing good today, up 6%. Okay, so still clinging on in the top 10, the 10th spot. Avalanche doing good today. Chainlink up. Like I said, I covered Chainlink, 17%. And then you got a lot of decent movers. Arweave. Man, how did Arweave get so big? Arweave is right under Filecoin. Holy moly. Man, they were like below 100. I don't know what happened to Arweave. Look at this. They're up 100% in the last 30 days. Man, I missed out on something with Arweave. But I've always said this. I like Arweave better than Filecoin, and they're neck and neck, and it's about to flip. I don't know what happened. How is Arweave up 100% in the last 30 days? There must be something big happening there. I gotta do more research, but that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Let's see. Floki is up, doing well. Bonk is doing well. Well, I'm looking at 30-day now, not today, but 69% in the last 30 days. Yeah, decent day. All right, let me scroll up here. Yesterday it was funny. I forgot to end the stream, so it was dead air for like a complete hour until someone told me. And then after I checked, there was still like close to 700 people in the live chat just talking, just chatting away, even though it was dead air. That was quite funny, and I guess that shows how much time people have on their hands. Dean says, we're grateful for your dedication. I appreciate that. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's see. ICP sounds like a multi-level marketing company. Let's see. Still scrolling. H bar is king. Thoughts on Roaring Kitty? What thoughts? The person or the meme? Not sure. Chit chat. Considering their scalability issues, should I sell my bag of Matic for an engagement ring? Well, that's a tricky one. Do you treasure gains more or your future wife more? So, only you could decide that. You know what they say, wife changing wealth, right? So do you want to wait a little bit longer or do you want to settle down now? I guess that's the real question. Rodrigo, thoughts on MAGA? Whale FUD just posted yesterday. I don't know. Is Whale FUD supposed to be someone important? That's been out. That Trump coin has been out for a long time. It's already too high. It's just, for me, it's not worth getting into. It's hundreds of millions already. If you're into a meme coin, you'd rather buy something smaller, right? Few people understand BTC better, but soon everyone will see the power of Dark Baron Trump. Okay. Meta 8 often. New member, welcome. Bought ton meme coin Rekka just in case. Never heard of it. Erman says, I'm up 1,300% on Arweave. Made a lot. Should I wait? It can maybe do 3x, 5x. Yeah, it definitely can. It could still do a 10x from where it is. But I'm just quite surprised I missed that they've been going up so much and, I didn't hear anything about them. But I've always said I like Arweave better, and here's the reason why. And there's a couple of reasons that have changed, but still, they were the storage backbone for Solana for a long time before Solana actually built their own storage. But they are still a storage backbone for, say, Meta, and they are a legit L1. And when I say Meta, for Meta NFTs and Instagram NFTs, and they are a legit L1, so they are onboarding DApp and DApp makers on there. But there must have been something happening within the last 30 days. Maybe they decided to pivot into AI or something. I'm going to do more research on that. But I've always said I like Arweave better than Filecoin. G7 Films. Hey George, if ETH is deemed a security, what do you think will happen to a project built on it? Will they become securities? No, they will just move away. Doesn't automatically mean that they all become securities. George, is Jupiter a goodbye? Yes. Yes. You know how people ask me about stacks? Is stacks a goodbye? As long as Bitcoin's going up, stacks is going to go up. Same thing with Jupiter. As long as Solana's going up, Jupiter's going to go up. I mean, it's just, they go hand in hand. Because it's so vital for, obviously for Jupiter. If Solana goes up, it's so vital for Jupiter to be around because they're the biggest and best DEX there is for Solana. Ouch. MicroStrategy's up. MicroStrategy just does not stop. Mara has mined over 8% of the global BTC mine in the last 24 hours. Quite an achievement. Well, there's only 450 produced per day, right? So mining 8% of that, I guess, from a single entity, yeah. But if you think about it, it pales compared to how much is being bought, like right now. Okay, even though only 450 being produced per day, we're talking about thousands are being taken away from circulation per day. And we're talking about thousands just for ETFs. That doesn't count for everything else. Like all the other big buys, OTC buys we might not even hear about, and whale buys and so forth. We're talking about tens of thousands being bought per day, and yet only 450 is being produced or mined per day. Just think about that for a second. Sultano, thank you, member for 31 months. That's quite a long time. That's over 2 years. That's a long time. Wait, who is MicroStrategy? Are you Red X? Are you serious? I don't know if you're joking, but it's the company Michael Saylor runs. Why is Coinbase so slow to list upcoming projects? Well, they only list two, Solana based and Ethereum based, right? So that's number one. And number two is they're under a lot of scrutiny from the SEC. They want to make sure they don't list any coin or token that could be deemed as a security. Otherwise, they're going to get into another lawsuit with the SEC. They're trying to win right now against the SEC. Dan is asking, where can I get a June 1st Lego sets early? You have to be a Lego reviewer. If you have a large channel on YouTube, Lego will send it to you for free to review. What's considered a security token? Well, Gary has a very broad definition for what's a security. So it's kind of hard. Kind of hard to pinpoint. Jay says, my wife worked for Lego. We have a lot of exclusive. You know what? The sets I've always wanted are the ones that only you can get during a tour. They're like serial numbered. I don't know if they still do that, but before, Lego would have a random draw of people that can visit their factory. And that tour is expensive. I heard it's like $5,000 or something. And then you'd get all these exclusive sets you can't buy anywhere else. And they actually have a serial number written on them, like 1 out of 100 or something, or 1 out of 10. And sometimes you see those being sold on eBay for like enormous amount of money. I would like to do that someday. I don't know if they still do that. I just heard years ago they would do that. I never understood why Lego doesn't get into like serial number stuff. That seems to be the next evolution. I don't know why it's taking them so long. First of all, I gave them a really good idea. They should have exclusive sets for exclusive cities, okay? Like even like a minifig or something. That would cause a lot of people to go all over the place to buy exclusive sets or minifigs that you can only get from certain locations around the world. That is a brilliant idea, and they should start doing that right away. And number two is they should start coming out with limited edition sets, right? Like right now, they're coming out with all these cool sets for adults, but they're not very limited. So no one really just buys them to collect. But if they start producing sets like exclusive Star Wars sets or, you know, I don't know, Marvel sets where they say, oh, there's only 10,000 of these, right? You better buy them before they sell out. Man, that would cause so many people to FOMO into these sets. I'm giving Lego all these like awesome ideas. If they actually listen and do it, they will make billions more. Tom, welcome. Minikai, can you peep speed on Sol? Think it do numbers speed. $16 days ago, 14 million, not bad. Sideways movement. It bottomed out here coming back. Doesn't look bad. Almost 5K users. Liquidity is low. Sub 1 million for a 14 million market cap. See, that's important. This shows you like a lot of people who run memes. They don't know what they're doing. This is their first meme. But one of the important things is to keep adding liquidity as the market cap goes up. That's how you stabilize things. Otherwise, when the whales start dumping, it goes down really fast. So it seems like they haven't been putting more money into liquidity pools, which they should. We're building an ecosystem for all the Georges out there. We're fair launching soon. No dev bag. We're building out. Please don't. Because if you do, I can't support it. And I won't support it. So I beg you to reconsider. Dopey Dave. Thank you for that. Flip Lego says, I own a Lego store on Bricklink. Yeah, too bad. Bricklink got bought by Lego too. Made 12K profit first year selling Lego. I used to be on Bricklink all the time buying the plates and all these individual blocks. You know, I have this whole thing, you know, of blocks, like this organizer. Like I was on Bricklink all the time before. Just don't have time for that now. But congrats. Did I get into Hot Wheels? No, I never got into Hot Wheels. New England Patriots. Should I be worried about ETH? ETH is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. But, you know, when you're looking at price potential or gain potential, I do think someone like Solana is going to have much greater gain potential than Ethereum at this point. And one of the reasons is because it's already so much bigger, right? But yeah, I don't think Ethereum's going to hit its previous high. It was at like almost 5,000. Will it get back up there? Yeah, for sure. Hayden is asking SF90 or Tributo. I mean, they're not even the same class, my man. But SF90, okay, not to hate on the SF90. I don't like the way it looks. I think the new Ferraris look so weird because they're all so round now. Oh, looks like my my connection just dropped out a little bit. YOLO. No, I think you're wrong. Sol will pass Ethereum. I think you got the whole thing wrong. Even though I said not to worry about ETH, Sol will surpass Ethereum. It already has in everything besides TVL. Transactional volume, revenue, users, everything else about Sol already surpassed ETH. So I think you misinterpreted what I said. Brennan says, I think a new Corvette seems a pretty compelling solution to someone who thinks they want a Ferrari or Lambo. Yeah, the new Corvette. You know, the surprising thing is I haven't driven a new Stingray yet. But they finally have come down so much in price. You could get like a 2020, 2021 Stingray with like less than 10,000 miles for like 60 something thousand now. It's actually affordable, like how it was intended. But for so many years, dealership kept marking them up by 20, 30, 40, 50,000. But they look great. They're absolutely great. I haven't driven in yet, but every time I see one on the road, I still do a double take on it. They do kind of look like a Ferrari or Lambo. But when you park next to a Ferrari or Lambo, then you just still feel poor. That's the only thing. Press O'Neil, man. Don't show up, man. If you don't like to hear me talk about cars or Legos, just get the F out. Like, why are you getting so mad? You're not asking any crypto questions. What are your questions? Tony B, has the quality and interior in that Mustang that you're testing, you didn't finish your question. I think you meant to ask, has the quality and interior improved in that Mustang? And the answer is yes. Way, way, way better. Way better. Laura says, how can you be so relaxed? Time to panic. It's not time to panic. Legos appreciate more than gold. I think it does, actually. Some of the older sets have gone up double or triple, and gold has not done that in forever. So Lego does appreciate. You could argue Lego is a better hedge against inflation than gold because of the performance of the last 10 years. There are some sets, retired sets, that have tripled in price within the last 5 years. Within the last 5 years, gold has not tripled in price. Ivan, I have a 12K Rolex and still feel poor near people with all the gold Rolex and two-tones. You know, I have the same story. I have a couple. I have a couple Daytonas and Submariners, and I wear them to events. But I feel poor when I see people with their Pateks or APs or what's that? Millies. I met a person in Dubai. He's wearing a Richard Mille, and I took a look at it, and you know, it's like you're wearing a $300,000 watch on your wrist. That's just too much, man. Like, I'd rather go buy another Ferrari than buy a $300,000 watch. That's just too much, too wasteful. Unless you're a billionaire. NMCT, thoughts on ETH, L2, Arbitrum, Optimum bleeding out due to Sol's popularity. Jupiter's a DEX gaining on market cap. It's insane. NMCT, you watch me all the time, man. You know you basically should know the answer to that question already, or those questions. Because, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of people. First of all, there's not a whole lot of stuff happening in those chains. Number two, ETH is losing popularity due to Sol gaining popularity. And three, Jupiter is gaining because of all the meme movement on Sol. I honestly think Base only got popular because Sol had his problems and then memes got popular on Base. That's the only reason. I don't really hear about any other legit projects running on top of Base or Arbitrum or Optimism. Nuggets with Wolves in Game 7, man. I think if I was going to bet, I would bet Nuggets would win. But I really, 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 really did not want them to win. I want the Wolves to win. It'll be fun and exciting to see Wolves versus Mavs or Wolves versus OKC. I do not want Jokic to get another championship and a Finals MVP. Because I dislike him because he has too much already. When it's all said and done, he's going to be considered like the greatest player ever to play in the history of basketball because he's going to win so many chips and he's so dominant, and that's because there's like no good big men right now in the NBA. And plus, he beat my Lakers so many times, and I don't like that. Stop asking about a Miro review. If you ask him one more time, you'll get timed out. Tone, that might be my life in a couple years. Josh's account only says I would never spend more than 10 grand on a watch, even if I had billions. No, that's not true. You would. I don't think people realize how much $1 billion is. You can never ever spend it. It's insane amount of money. You would get bored. That's why rich people start buying things, honestly, because they're bored. That's really it. Like, what do you go do with all that money? You will buy expensive cars and yachts and mansions and buildings, and you will splurge on watches and food and services and experiences, and then you will become bored, and then you realize you still need to work. That's why almost every billionaire still works, because they're so bored with their life. I find that every person needs to have some kind of like goal in life. Okay, 99% of the people on the planet, their goal is to make more money. I would say 99.9% of people's goals on the planet is just to make money, because that's just how it is. But the people that have achieved that goal, where they have made money, right? That's like something that most people can't comprehend. But once you get there, you realize that after you have the money and you have all the things you want, what are you going to do with your life? Life becomes very boring. The chase of getting money, the chase of wanting something is more exhilarating than actually having it. The thought that, hey, one day I could buy a Lambo because of my gains is more exciting than having the Lambo itself. So that's my 2 cents. People talk about how they want a Lambo. It'll be so awesome to own a Lambo. It'll be so awesome. I make millions and I can buy a Lambo. And once you do, and the Lambo sits in your garage, you're like, okay, now what? You lose that excitement, the thrill, really quickly. Minimalism is the way low key. Still want a Mustang Dark Horse though. I'll say this, the GT Premium and Dark Horse are not very different. I'd rather just save the money and buy a GT than a Dark Horse. You're only gaining 20 horsepower. And GT Premium already gets good you race seats and has everything. I don't know if Dark Horse, and it doesn't look all that different. So I don't know if getting a Dark Horse is worth it. Just getting a nice GT, which is around like 40s, mid 40s, I think you'd be very happy with it. Patters. I got bored of my Ferrari after 1 year. Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that you achieve something, right? It's good to know if you drive it every so often, it still feels great. It looks great sitting there in the garage, but the thrill of trying to attain one is gone, right? So now on to the next thrill, which is whatever else you want to afford. But if you're truly like a billionaire and you could truly afford anything at any given time without any thoughts, that's when life gets really boring, because the thrill of chasing something is gone, unless it's with something else, like the thrill of becoming president, which a lot of billionaires want to do, or the thrill of starting a new business and making that grow. They're doing that for the thrill, or that's their next goal, not necessarily because they need more money. So I don't know. I think just like there needs to be something that people look forward to. The 2026 GT500 is not going to be a manual, man. Even the last GT500 is not manual, so they're not going to make the new one manual. Today's kind of a mixed day. MicroStrategy is pumping. MicroStrategy seems to pump all the time. 27 billion market cap. Michael says, but that's kind of the mindset of an addict in a way. It is, but that's how humans are. There's always a chase in something. If you don't, like, I don't know. There's always something. There's always something. Well, ETH ETF rejection also caused BTC to dump. That's a good question. No one has asked me that before. I actually don't know. ETH will dump, but will ETH dump so much it'll cause BTC to dump? Maybe a little bit, but not as much as ETH dumping. But you know, here's the reality. Ethereum ETF will get rejected. It won't be like approval first time around, right? So when you say dump, I mean, when I say dump, it's going to be little. Like, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Only if it keeps getting rejected over and over again, and eventually all of them quit trying, then maybe. But yeah, you know, it might be a non-event. It might just be a non-event. Steven says, ETH is absolutely security. I bought the ICO. Well, you know, here's the thing. Ripple case makes that irrelevant. Ripple also had an ICO. But the courts ruled that just because you have an ICO doesn't automatically make you a security. It depends afterwards how it behaves. But Ripple is still fighting that they had a legal token offering. So Ethereum will probably have to fight that if they get sued. My fear, here's my biggest fear, is the last days of Gary Gensler being SEC chair, he will declare Ethereum a security and then leave, because then he doesn't have to worry about it. He leaves that case open for the next SEC chair. That's exactly what Jay Clayton did with Ripple and XRP. He declared Ripple and XRP as security in his final week of being SEC chair. He just said, oh, we're going to sue them, and he leaves. And he leaves that for Gary to handle. So I'm afraid Gary may do something like that too. Blair, yeah, we're not going to get a Sol ETF anytime soon. I don't think that's going to happen. What's your take on baby Dogecoin? Stay away. The copycats are never as good as the real ones. All right, guys. That's enough for this Friday. Happy Friday. Bitcoin is doing well. Entire market is doing well today. And the bull market is going to keep accelerating. There's no doubt about it. We had almost $1 billion worth of inflow this week, and it will be $1 billion after today. And it's going to keep on flowing. This is all going to add up. All right, so smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll see where the market is then. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.